Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is Leadership of the Heart. Joining me this and every week is a dear friend, someone who's had a major impact in my life, who actually worked with me in her coaching capacity to help me leave my corporate job and actually be here with all of you wonderful people. Her name is MARISKA, and she's a transformation and leadership coach. And she's joining us from, she loves when I say it, New Zealand. All right, welcome to the program. Hi.
Hi, and as always, it is lovely joining you.
I am just so excited about this program. We have a great guest backstage who I can now officially say is one of our team members here at USA Global TV and Radio. We're going to discuss more about that in a moment. Before we bring her out, MARISKA, I want to spotlight you and have you share with our audience, how do you work with your clients, number one, and number two, you are an expert presenter on our Talking Heads panel. How has that been going for you being a talking head?
Okay, so let's start with how I normally work with my clients first. So there is two different ways that I work with my clients. One is one-on-one coaching. So that is where I would coach the person individually, and we will work on different elements that they want to work on. Most of the time it is career-based, but as we all know, we are whole human beings, and our career and our personal life do have a tendency to blend into one because we are one person. So some of those elements do come through in some of the coaching, and whatever it is that we do in one, we can more than likely utilize in other areas of our life. So that's the one area. And then the other is when I work with teams or groups, and this can take the form of facilitating training, or it might be more of a team coaching environment where the team wants to develop or need to learn how to work better together in order for them to become a thriving team and actually propel the organization forward. So that's the two main ways in which I normally work with my clients. And then as for the talking heads, it's been such a learning journey. To start off with, me and cameras in general, I won't say that I'm not a fan, but I have shied away from it for a very, very long time. So I had to get used to being in front of a camera, talking to the lens instead of talking to the screen, as some of us within our current environment has learned throughout. And then we also, just the trainings, the different types of trainings that we do within the talking heads, it's always interesting to go through the process of compiling the information and then coming to present. So I've enjoyed it quite a lot, and I would absolutely recommend that to everybody else.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I've watched you grow and blossom, and it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you for all that you do to help me personally and professionally, and all that you've brought to this platform. My last announcement is that as of yesterday, when we were brainstorming, we now are going to co-write a new series of books for children. And the series is The Listening Mentor, and it's really geared to teaching children listening skills. So yay on that. Okay. Enough about what we're doing. I'm excited to bring out our guest. As I mentioned, she is actually a team member here now. She is one of our panelists on A Woman's Prerogative, a new show that is starting next week. It's already May. So let me give her the proper introduction. She has had quite an extensive corporate career. She left, and she'll share more about that with us. And she went out on her own, and she's done so many amazing things that are all in the space of empowerment and giving back. She is the CEO and founder of Goddess Process, the CEO and founder of Good Amplified, the CEO and founder of Comedy Gives Back. She's also a transformational coach. She's a former Hollywood producer, and she is Amber J. Lawson. Let's welcome her. She joins us from California. Woo! Welcome. Welcome to USA Global TV. We're so happy to have you.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we have to say thank you to Vanessa out there. She's the one who connected us. And I just love how these things happen. So in a very short time, we have made some cool things to move us all forward. So Amber J., our show today is Leadership of the Heart. And you know a lot about leadership and about the heart and leading with the heart. So I'm going to just spotlight you and ask you to start there, and then we'll back into your story.
Now more than ever, leading with the heart is not a luxury. It is a must-have. And I do notice that more and more corporations are embracing emotional intelligence, are embracing mindfulness, and it's the great resignation. People just won't put up with it anymore. So this gets to be front of mind, whether you are running a small business or some Fortune 500 company. We get to come together in community, take care of each other. It is not, remember the old catchphrase, it's just business? Well, that's BS. It's not. We're all human beings, and we get to be treated as such, and we get to celebrate our talents. We get to be healthy and mindful and in alignment with who and what we are meant to be on the planet. How about that for an opener?
Yes, I love it. Thank you. Brilliant. We're going to be speaking a little bit later in the show about what to do when you feel just unmotivated and burnt out. And so many people are feeling that way. And you just touched on that. Let's talk about your career in corporate when you had a huge job, vice president of content. Tell us more about that and how that opportunity, that experience in your life channeled you to move forward and do what it is you're doing today.
Yes. And I find this with a lot of women in corporate America who are doing it like a man. I was succeeding. I was climbing up the ladder. I was doing deals, and I loved it. I loved it. I was jet setting around the planet. I was on stages, on dais tables, on panels, in boardrooms, and I was usually, it was me, maybe one other woman who was even in the same room. And so, as you do, I found that I was emanating how men were navigating their lives and their careers. I was doing it like a man. And I got success from that. Like, it was successful. I don't want to downplay that. but I am in a feminine body, and I was denying a large piece of who I be as a human on the planet at this time. And I didn't have other women to model that off of. In fact, I felt like I was in competition with any other woman. If another woman were to come into my realm, and I was justified in this, I'm just going to say this, and I'm sure others who have felt this experience, in that it only felt like there was room for one woman at the table. And so in order to keep my spot, I would do whatever it took in order to be in the role I was, until one day. So I was leading all of content at AOL. I oversaw every single piece of content that AOL put out. If you can imagine, that was a lot of content. This was about 10 years ago at this point. And I loved it. I loved the creation. I loved seeing the impact. I loved watching the view numbers. I loved it all. And I held this massive budget of $10 million that I was totally in charge of and got to spend. Who doesn't want to spend $10 million? You get a show. You get a show. So I was in my heyday. I didn't sleep. So I was celebrating not 80-hour work weeks, 112. Like, I just wouldn't sleep because I loved it so much. And I also was afraid I would miss out on something if I didn't. So I was working around the clock. I was eating and drinking and sexing and all the things, right, in order to fill the emotional gaps that I didn't know how to handle at the time, right? I didn't understand that this is the body you're in and you get to take care of it, and self-care comes first, because from good sleep and nutrition and health and well-being comes good decision making. I was just churning more. The more, the better, more. And I helped two things. One is women who were in my sphere who showed any emotion or vulnerability. I crushed that down. I saw vulnerability as weakness. I hadn't cried in years. Who can relate to that? Because I thought that meant I was weak, that I was not going to be taken seriously, that I would get made fun of and laughed at and been a girly girl, right? Because I grew up in an Italian household in Kansas City, Missouri, and it was suck it up. Big girls don't cry. And it wasn't that my family didn't want me to have my feelings. They were trying to prepare me for what they knew life to be. So here I was kind of perpetuating that out in the world and not allowing other women or men for that matter to have their emotional experience. And then I helped facilitate the acquisition of the Huffington Post at AOL. And I brought Tim Armstrong and Ariana Huffington together. The deal happened as literally I was flying on a flight. It was Super Bowl Sunday. I remember I was watching the Super Bowl as on the plane as they were negotiating and doing the deal. I wake up Saturday morning. We have a big team meeting. Yay, we've acquired Huffington Post. This is amazing. I was so excited to work with Ariana Huffington. Cut to a month later, I am publicly fired. She took my role, and I was mortified. And didn't know how to handle it because I had done nothing wrong. And that really launched me unwillingly into the next phase, my next chapter, and my transformational journey. I'll put a period on
Woo! That. Unbelievable. Wow. But they weren't going to keep you down. That is for sure, right?
Well, I mean, at that point, I pivoted to use my powers for good. Right? Because I was driving millions and billions of views into arguably not the best content on the planet. You know, some of it's clickbait, some of it's, you know, salacious or goofy or whatever, right? It's all based in what the internet wants or brands want, for that matter. Those were the two masters we served. So I have all this skill. I have all this insight. I know how to run big networks. I shifted it and launched my company, Good Amplified, where we amplify the good of nonprofits across social media. So leveraging the content, the storytelling, the algorithms in order to get the good doing out in the world. And my first client was Make-A-Wish America. They've been my client forever. And I work with XPRIZE and Boys and Girls Club and you name it, in getting their story out in the world. And my vision was to have 1 billion views impacting the lives of people on the planet. And we did it.
Amazing. Wow. What an accomplishment.
Yes.
We got around.
Are you going to tell us how you did it?
Yeah. Bring out your notepad. I'm going to show you the way.
I got it right here, ready to go.
But really leveraging the skills I had in order to begin my next chapter. And I think that's the big takeaway here is, okay, so you did this big corporate job, and I think we can relate on this call. And I know in the different platforms that I'm on, I attract a lot of, in particular, women. I work specifically with women because I am in a woman's body. And that's the experience I've had is I did corporate. I did it like a man. I was out there and I was successful at it. And that was awesome. And it supported me in my next chapter to have all these skills that I gained over here and all the new lessons I've learned in getting my PhD in emotional intelligence, in facilitating hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people in their transformational journey, in waking up to their true gifts and what they're meant to do here on the planet, not just do a job to get to death.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you also touched on the topic of our show. You were working in your masculine energy, working, triple digit hours during the week. And at some point, you probably were not feeling well. You were demonstrating behaviors you said that were not healthy. And people are doing this all over the world. People are so depressed or suppressed or angry or whatever it is they're feeling. And people are going through burnout. So as we move into the next part of our discussion, how do people recognize burnout and how can you help them with that?
Yes. Yes. Anger is suppressed radiance. We have shame around anger in our current culture, especially as women. We're not supposed to be angry. We're not supposed to be mad. We're just supposed to let it roll off our backs. But we stuff it down and it manifests as dis-ease in our bodies. The fact of the matter is you max out at a certain level. There's only so much your brain can hold on to. They even say that you can only have 20 brands in your brain at any time, like loyalty to certain things. It's the same kind. You have this capacity. And yes, we live in an abundant universe, but we have decided that we have finite time. And you have finite energy, especially if you're milking it to the limit, when you're stretching it too thin, that is not maximizing. And that's a hard lesson in our culture to embrace at this time. So the divine feminine is meant to be. We are best in our beingness, in flow, beauty, community, allowing, like the blossom of a flower opening up in its own time. That is the divine feminine. And when the divine feminine is in her masculine, it is, first of all, there's no polarity. So we take away that sexiness that we like, but it's also that attraction towards things. So if you are doing all the things, you're crossing off your list, you're checking all the boxes, you leave no space for others to support you. So we may be sitting there like, gosh, why do I have to do everything by myself? Why does my partner never help me do X, Y, and Z? Well, are we leaving space for someone else to show up? Are we leaving space for others to support us in our vision, our purpose in the world? That is the business goddesses' biggest lesson to learn. The newest muscle to build is that allowing space. And in the allowing space, where we get to be supported, is where our visions grow exponentially. I will say this part. How dare you take away the learning from the next generation? If we are doing everything, if we are doing all the things, because nobody else can do it like I can. Well, okay. But if we don't train the next generation, our kids, our partners, our coworkers, our sister circle, our friends, how they can support us, how will they ever learn these tools such that they can do whatever they're meant to do in the world? Mm-hmm. How dare we take that experience away from them? And at a certain point, right, we become crones, we become wise women, we become queens. And the queen is not there doing the reporting, doing the checking the boxes, go run into the grocery store or whatever the thing might be, right? So when I step into queendom, when I step into being the wise woman, my beingness alone is worthy. I am worthy just by existing, by showing up. I already have done all the things. Okay, I just stirred the pot a lot. What bubbled up for you there?
I've got a zillion questions. We have to take a break, though. So unfortunately, we've got to hear from our sponsors. So we're going to come back and we're going to dig into that. And I also want to talk about your signature Spark program as well. How does that sound?
Perfect.
All right, fantastic. Let's take a break and listen to some of our sponsors, and we'll be right back on Leadership of the Heart.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
Each other, stand in our glory, and be acknowledged just for being. Let's welcome back to the program Amber J. Lawson. Hello. Woo! I just love what we discussed before the break, and you've been hogging the show. Mariska, I'm going to go over to you for a question that you have for Amber.
Amber, one of the things that you mentioned was being able to create space for those that come after us. We have learned, we have all this knowledge and made loads of mistakes, and hopefully some others doesn't need to do the same thing. So how do we do that? If we want to start empowering other people around us, because not only does that empower them, it also empowers us. How do we do that?
First of all, it's acknowledging it. So the one thing that there isn't in modern day, there isn't this rite of passage. And by acknowledging that we get to pass down this information and hand it off and know, and this is the big piece of it that runs deep, is that we are still worthy. A lot of a modern day's woman, and I'll speak from a lot of my value is wrapped up in my awards, my being needed, my being the only person who had the information. And that if I kept that then I held the golden ticket that nobody else could do X, Y, or Z without involving me. Because my fear was, if I gave away that information, if I taught the next generation, that I would no longer be relevant. And I think that runs very deep in our core. We made it all this way. We're in the C-suite, or we've become successful in some way, shape, or form. We have some sort of title or accolade that if we support others, that then we are no longer relevant. And then what? Who am I if I am not X, Y, and Z? And so that's some deep work that the collective is experiencing. What's happening in the I is happening in the we, is happening in the all. And so when we know that just by being, just by who we are, the fact that we're here is like against the odds. You made it already. You're here, right? Now everything else is gravy. Everything else is icing on the cake. How can I trust and know that I am of value just by being? And when I have that, then I can bring others up.
I thank you for sharing that. I can so remember many times in my corporate career that I thought, oh, I have the information. No, I can't give it to, because I won't have any role anymore, especially if it was with a man, giving the man the information so I can just walk all over me. And when I think about what you just shared about giving acknowledgement and acceptance for just being, I'm kind of like, wow, I feel like something in my heart, like that's something I've never actually thought about. I thought it's that list that we check off, or all those awards, or all the designations, but it's not.
It's not. And that is what our society has celebrated at this phase. There have been times in life where that was not the case, right? In fact, it would be ridiculous. However, where we are now, and I do believe we're transitioning out of it, right? In the Gen Zs are very much this way of, it's not about power. It's not about money. It's about community. It's about coming together and sharing the gifts, the gift that you have and the gift that you have. And together we put our gifts together, and then what do we create in the world? And it's not trying to get somewhere. They're not really tied to property like other generations have been. That isn't the end game. We're not. And in fact, that's the big aha. We're not trying to get anywhere. Like, life isn't about working around the clock in order to get the house and the white picket fence and the car and the vacations, that you get to the vacation and you need a vacation from your vacation because your vacation's so hard and you did all the Instagrammable things, and then you come back and you're like, I'm exhausted, right? We're not meant to be exhausted. We're meant to live and express ourselves and have the experiences that we have in life. And so we are in the midst of a shift, and we get to cut ourselves a freaking break. You know what I'm saying? Because we're just learning this. We we are the product of our parents and our parents' parents and our parents' parents, right? We go many generations back. We carry their trauma and their belief systems, the lens in which they look at the world. And I say in my 3-day Wealthy Wild Woman program, the things that keep us small, right? Story, assumptions, I guess I could spell it out. Masks, assumptions, limiting beliefs, and lenses. So we have a lens that our family taught us, in which the prism in which we look at the world. And, for my family, it was, suck it up. Big girls don't cry. You go out, you get a job, you get a house, you die. That's what you did. And I was engaged 3 times. I was going, the first 2 was, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. That's really where it's at. But something inside of me was like, I don't know that I want to live a life with this person. This is nice. It's fine, but it ain't this isn't the person that visions the world like I do, who wants to build the world like I do. And I just felt like my heart was contracting as opposed to expanding. And so something, thank goodness that something inside of me said, trust yourself on this. This isn't it. Even though you're blowing it all up, blow it up, because this ain't it. So that's what we get to step into. So thank you, family. They were trying to protect us. They were trying to make sure that we lived, right? That we stayed on the planet and thrived the best that they know how.
Yeah. Yes, we thank our families for doing what they did the way that they know how to do it. And then we thank goodness that we have intuition and insights and people like you who can help us figure it all out. I remember someone asked me to marry them, and I said, I'd love to marry you, but I don't want to live with you. And they couldn't understand it. Now today, that's perfectly acceptable. I know people who are married there. Yeah. So we have evolved to some degree. Amber, when you're feeling low, I know you travel a lot, you have a lot of responsibilities. How do you pick yourself back up when you're feeling the energy level starting to go down?
Well, there's many things that I do, and now there are many things I don't do. And I trust my sacred no. I don't have to say yes to everything. I get to tune it, just take a breath and go, is this in alignment? Does this feel good in my body? Is this something I want to do, or am I doing it out of some obligation? Whether that be cultural, familial, whatever, work, whatever that thing is. The second thing is I have all the tools, all the things, right? Meditation. I have a shake plate. I have rituals. I do the tarot cards. I go for a walk. I go hug a tree. I have a multitude of tools. I move my body. The number one thing you can do, take this with you, hallelujah and amen, is put one of your favorite songs on. I like the 80s. I put on one of my songs that I can sing out loud to and dance for one song. It will shift your state. It will shift your state. If that doesn't shift your state, then go to bed. Go back to bed. It's okay. Take a nap. Go chill out. Take the time off. Yesterday, I've been traveling for the past 2 weeks. Yesterday, I got home. I took a 2-hour nap. I went to brunch. I took another 2-hour nap. And if that wasn't enough, I then watched fabulous television. I did my work and I went back to bed. And I love it.
I love that.
That sounds like an amazing day.
Yes, it was. And on top of it, I took a goddess soak. Nothing wrong with a goddess soak.
Tell us about that.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, yes.
Part of, so in my Spark signature program, the first is S, self-care. And my favorite thing to do, in fact, I wanted to create, you know how they have spinning classes and they all spin? I wanted to do goddess soak classes where it would be those, clawed feet tubs, right? And I would sit at the front of the room and instruct them, now relax. Now everybody lay in your tub. Now flip over. I love my bathtub. And you know what's a real bummer? I was traveling for the past 2 weeks. They don't have bathtubs in hotels anymore. So like I did not get to have a bath. So as soon as I got home, I put my salts in there. I like to put essential oils in the tub. I put on binaural beats or meditation, and I can sit in there for 20, 30 minutes, an hour. Like it, and yes, I'm a prune, but I love it. And you know, water, I don't know if you know this or not, but when you're in the shower in the morning, you are in theta state, and it is a perfect time to get downloads. So not that I'm not a long showerer, but I like it hot. I like it to come in, and in 5 minutes I can go like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing today. And I get clarity on the committed right action that I'm meant to take.
Yeah, you know what? I was just thinking about, I haven't taken a bath in years, I don't think. In years. And there is something about just soaking away all the stress. And Mariska, do you like to take baths?
I enjoy them. So normally, back in South Africa, we had a corner bath. It was big enough for me and my husband to both fit in it. So what we would do is we would actually get snacks, put the salts and all the other nice stuff that you can soak in, and each have a book. And we would make half a day of it. So you'll top up a little bit with extra warm water every now and again just to get the temperature right. Yes, very pruny afterwards, but it was so nice. So yes,
I love it.
You can even do this with your other half if you are so inclined.
Yes, you can. You can have all kinds of other extra activities as well. So sky's the limit there.
Sky's the limit.
2 for 1, so to say. So Amber, as we come to the end of the show, they always go by so quickly. I would love for you to just look into the camera and just tell the audience what they need to do to work with you.
Aw. Well, if you're called to work with me, there are many ways to enter. I do these free 3-day Wealthy Wild Woman challenges where we set a very specific goal. The next one's going to be like May 15th, I think is the next one we have coming up. We set a very specific, magic happens in this 3-day. And it is about setting the specific goal and then magnetizing it to you, not doing all the things, right? We're getting away from the doing and coming into the allowing, attracting just from being. We are worthy enough to have this in our life. And if you are having the thought, it is meant for you. So this is where a lot of people get exposed to who I am and what I do. We go in deep, we make magic happen, we stir the pot, and come out the other side. And that's a private Facebook group that people can join. They just need to be a verifiable human being and a woman. It is feminine-bodied women who are in this group because it is a unique experience to be a woman on the planet at this time. And we have unique experiences, the struggles and conditions that we experience is unique to being in a female body. That being said, I have a tribe. So in my tribe, we meet twice a month for coaching. I do these hour of powers where we dig into various topics that are bubbling up in the world. And then we do a full moon ceremony each month where we do the 3 C's, which is clarity, get clear on what you want, clearing what's in the way, what is my limiting belief, what is stopping me and keeping me small, going back to small, and then committed action. What is the as opposed to the to-do list? Because we do all over ourselves. We get so busy doing that we don't leave space for the aligned right action. And it may be a big one. It may be an outrageous ask. It may be something that we have to put some support from our sister circle around us. So that's what we do in the full moon ceremonies is the 3 C's. Then I do a 30-day intensive, which is my Spark signature system, self-care, prosperity and abundance. So money equals self-worth, relationships, time equals intimacy. If you're always running off, you're too busy to do X, Y, and Z. This tends to be the masculine, also the feminine in the modern day. Who are the 5 people you're spending the most time with, and are you aligned with them? We ask very deep questions. This program sneaks up on you. It's 30 minutes a day for 4 weeks, and it is breakthrough central. The last one we just went through, one woman declared $10,000. She got $10,000 by the 3rd week. Another, Laura, who you talked to today, she declared $10,000. She got $35,000 in this month chunk of time. Crazy things happen. Amazing things happen when we allow the space for them to come in. And then the last C is community and contribution and celebration. Acknowledging when we get it. How many of us get the thing we wanted, we asked for, and then we just moved on to the next thing? So celebrate, taking the time to celebrate it, appreciate, vibrating with the planet so that we attract more or the next thing, but celebrating what we create in the world. And then last is I run a Women on Fire 7-month program. Women have to apply and get approved into the program. They need to be up to something. We have women writing doctors. I have doctors writing books. I have movie scripts happening, got hired to write a movie, starting new programs, having a baby. One woman declared having her 2nd child. We're having a baby. We're pregnant. So, I mean, like, we're bringing life into the world. That's the kind of like magic that we stir up in these programs. Thank you for asking.
People apply to be in that program.
And on the link and on the, it's goddessprocess.us/woman-on-fire. Woman on Fire. And you go to my Instagram. It's there. You can just go there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And Amber J, one last ask. Can you please share with our audience, even though we had our first meeting today and the show starts next week, what should people expect from this new show that we have? That's our first panel show of women for women about women, a woman's prerogative.
It's a woman's prerogative. That's what you should know. Well, so what's interesting, here's the thing I'm aware of, and these women are from all parts of the world with deep knowledge in their areas and what their experience that have brought them to this moment. And they have pain, they've experienced trauma and really heart-aching, breaking experiences that unfortunately, more often than not, most women have experienced one version of this. And here we are all still standing. And when we come together in a group, we get to know that we're not alone, that we're not weird or out of the box, or that there's something wrong with us. The fact of the matter is we all have experienced things, and there's always more. There's always another chapter. There is always another opportunity, and you are not alone in this journey. I think that's the biggest thing, is you are not alone, and there are tons of resources. And when we as women come together, anything is possible. I mean, that's what's about to happen on the planet. Are you kidding me? Hold your pants on.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. I feel pumped up and psyched. I'm just so happy that you're here with us today and you're going to be part of the panel. So, Amber, I'd love to have you back again. You're welcome to come on any of our shows and just help us get the word out. Tell people about everything that you're doing and have people get involved. I know I want to get involved. What about like for someone like Mariska, who's in she's a day ahead? Can we get involved no matter where we are?
Yeah, I mean, everything's virtual. So, I don't know how timing is, I don't know how that works, but we record everything. And so you can watch the replays. But, I mean, live is live. And We do graduations in person. I literally live on the beach right here in Venice, California, and we do full moon ceremonies where we howl at the moon right at the beach. So every once in a while, we'll stir the pot and have the community come together in person, because it's so important to see each other, and connect and to feel each other. And so, there are these things called airplanes, and they're working now. So come on down.
I love it. That would be so much fun to be on the beach and howling at the moon. Let's put that out there. We're putting it out to the universe.
Yes.
Well, ladies, it's time for us to close up for today. So, Amber, Jay, thank you so much. We're going to be seeing a lot more of you now that you're on the team. And I just am so grateful that Vanessa brought us together. It's fabulous. Mariska,
thank you both so much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We have your contact information up. Plus, we put other information there in the comments. So please do reach out to Amber. As I mentioned, you'll be seeing a lot more of her here on this platform. All right. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. I just love her, don't you?
Absolutely. She is an absolute ball of energy. And I can just imagine the panel discussions will definitely have the right amount of energy to kick anybody into gear.
Definitely. I totally agree with you. All right. I'm going to spotlight you for you to give your contact information. How can people reach you, and tell them when they can watch you for your Talking Heads episode?
So the way that you guys can get hold of me is via my email, which is mariska@journeytodiscover.com. Remember, the 2 is the number. Or alternatively, you can connect to me or with me on LinkedIn. Just send a little note when you do the connection to let me know where you got my information from. And then to get hold of me for Talking Heads, if you are in the US or anything a little bit earlier than New Zealand, that would be on a Wednesday at 5 p.m. as far as I remember, Eastern Time. Or alternatively, if you are in New Zealand or closer to New Zealand, it would be on a Thursday at 9 a.m.
All right. Thank you so much for giving that information. Very much appreciate it. And I will say au revoir, adios, au revoir for now.
Indeed. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Happy Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you're over on our YouTube channel, please do click subscribe. I have a few announcements that I'm pretty excited about. If you were watching the beginning of the show, I announced that Mariska and I are now working together, co-writing a children's book that is based on teaching listening skills. And I think for all of us, doesn't matter who you are, we all can work on how to be a better listener, how to have elevated listening skills. We are offering the opportunity to be featured as a character, an animal character, in one of our books. So if you're interested, we have a casting call. We have information for you to provide. You can go over to any of my Facebook pages and you can apply there. So that would be JACALYN KERBECK, Dr. JACALYN, USA Global TV, or you could go over to our private women's group, which is Dr. JACALYN's Health and Wealth. You can also go over to LinkedIn, JACALYN KERBECK. And the second announcement is we have some new team members. I just announced Amber J has joined us as a panelist. We have several other new team members whom I'll be bringing onto the platform to introduce. And we just also signed up a new Talking Heads presenter. So we're growing and growing. If you want to be part of our family, please go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and you can book your session. You can also go to contact us and share what it is that you'd like to do on this platform. We would be happy to take a look and look at bringing you onto what it is we're doing and hearing what it is you have to offer for our audience. All right. Thank you. That's all we have for right now. That's our last show for today. We'll be back tomorrow with the Mallorca Connection. We'll see you soon. Thank you.